Hello there, and what? Oh, excuse me. Sorry. A lot of pollution in the air today. Oh, I knew I should have put more restrictions on the industry here. Welcome to Sloop John Island. I'm This Old Gamer, and I am thrilled to have you along for the ride today. Welcome back to another episode of Cities with John, and that be a historical one. Downtown episode number 20. I really appreciate you joining me today. It is going to be a lot of fun. Thank you for all the support getting us to Downtown episode 20. It's because of viewers like you that this series is still on the tracks. Well, it has gotten off the tracks several times, I know, but I do appreciate all the likes, comments, supports, and all my subscribers out there. Thanks for watching. And Downtown episode 19, we created this federal district, complete with a couple of parks, city hall, a gigantic news station that keeps things fair and balanced. And yeah, very, very busy area of the city, and a nice little water fountain square. Very cool. So hope you enjoyed that show. I know you're going to enjoy this show. Hey, it's history in the making. Stick around. We'll be right back.
This Old Gamer is paid for by contributions by viewers like you, and by...
Has the daily grind got you down? Are you ready to escape reality? Then bring your coins to Noah's Arcade. Hi, I'm Noah Hasselhoff. My arcades have created Sloop John Island fun for 75 years. We feature arcade machines of the past and today's top titles. We have hundreds of arcade machines that work half the time, with locations in Violet Park, Acacia, and our brand new arcade that probably won't make it in Robin Park. Fun is just around the corner. And don't forget, there's Noah coin shortage at Noah's Arcade. Noah's Arcade. It's no coincidence. It's the place to be. Get it? Coincidence? No.
So if you happen to miss it in between episode 19 and 20, I built this tram line and covered that on a new how-to video. So check that out. I will leave a link in the description below and a little quick thing that pops up to annoy you to watch it. So check it out. A sunken tram, well, I would say a tunnel to the sunken tram that goes underneath the intersection avoids a lot of traffic, because I was starting to have some traffic issues down there where the tram was starting to build up some places. Now the tram line did not actually connect over there just yet, so we actually created a new part of the tram line that went underneath the road, and I think that turned out really well. It kind of connected everything over to this federal district that we are now calling Midtown. So Midtown is also going to include what we are building today. This area is just north of Midtown. First, we're kind of starting with an area that is northeast of Midtown. This is right on the edge of Robin Park. And I'm creating a little bit of a strip mall type thing with some random businesses that have very similar looks. And also I have a Domino's there that I think looks pretty good on that little corner. And we mix that in with a Publix food and pharmacy. Never really been to a Publix food and pharmacy. According to my wife Katie, she said that it is a rather pricey, nice grocery store. Leave a comment, let me know. I have no idea. I've never been to one. So we got rid of the AutoZone and we're putting in this Tops Barbecue, a King Leno asset. Tops Barbecue also has a location in the lower canals. It is a famous Sloop John Island. Just to give away what I ripped off to name my city here. It is a famous Sloop John Island barbecue joint. I love me some barbecue. To make this parking lot, I'm using the Big Parking Lots mod. This is a newer version of a way to make a parking lot in your city. I was a little intimidated by it at first, and once I started getting the hang of it, I do actually like it. It took me a second to get used to, but it works pretty well. The best thing about it is, and the best thing, I guess, versus the traditional parking lot roads, is you can really form your parking lot just about anywhere. And as long as you have Move It and some other basic mods, you can adjust the nodes and get it to work pretty well. And we're just kind of putting a little bit of a cart corral. We'll just kind of spread some carts around the parking lot as well. So there you see there's a very strange angle for a parking lot, but that's what's great is parking lots are usually not just perfect squares or rectangles or whatever. It gives you the option of making a different style parking lot. Now the parking spots that are right in front of the grocery store there are unfortunately built into that grocery store. However, using these big parking lot mod, the parking spots are actually appear to be on top of the parking lot that I built. However, those cars that are down there are actually a little bit off of the ground. I'm not really too worried about it. I tried to adjust it and fix it. Didn't really work out, and I was just like, well, whatever. It sure beats having the parking spots outside of the parking lot itself. So here we're just putting a little bit of a outside area to eat when you get your barbecue. A little pulled pork action. I haven't had any good barbecue in quite some time, which is very sad. I need to find a new barbecue joint here in Louisville. I haven't really established one as I used to have back home in Paducah. There was several great barbecue joints down there. But yeah, I really like how this turned out. A very quick build for this corner over here by Robin Park. Kind of like an in-between the downtown inner city shopping area, so to speak. Close enough to a ton of apartments and condominiums where people can just come down here and get your usual everyday supplies like cigarettes, for example. Alright, so here we go. We've got flying cars already, obviously. What I'm going to focus on today is I'm just going to kind of continue these larger buildings, and my overall plan, which I discussed a couple of episodes ago, was to kind of slowly build into the more modern downtown, the skyscrapers and things like that, which are going to be on the other side of the train station. So I've built a bridge over that train station you see in the background there. It goes all the way over to basically to the shoreline, and that is going to serve as a main junction to connect both sides of downtown. So what I'm trying to do here is keep these buildings medium to high in size, not too big, and a little bit older looking. We're still pretty close to the Acacia district and some of the older parts of downtown. We're closer to that. So we're trying to keep this area a little bit less modern. Say this is kind of where a lot of the buildings here were built in like the 1950s and things like that. We also have one part of the canal runoff area there in behind these buildings to kind of deal with and build around, which doesn't bother me. That's why I built them. I wanted something unique to kind of build my downtown around. I haven't really decided the area right by the canal there that kind of leads over toward the shoreline, the condominiums and all that over there on the other side where Kuali Beach is. I haven't really decided what I'm going to put over there just yet, but we shall see. One thing I will be doing over here is the buildings. As you can tell, I am tightening things up a bit. So you're going to see some buildings overlapping other buildings. Using Move It and Plop the Growables, of course, we can do that. And so we're kind of combining buildings, putting buildings together to form larger buildings. I just keep on moving this elderly home. All the people in it just have to keep moving out. So there we go. Still got those old apartments there by the Tram Tunnel. Haven't torn them down just yet. Just going to leave them up for the time being. I'm using a lot of assets that are in that theme of old American inner city buildings, 1950 era buildings. And see, this building here is too big, so now this one's just right. Sound like I'm telling some sort of nursery rhyme. These are some commerce buildings that have the little connection in between them, which I just love. I'm actually going to rotate these around and kind of or sink them in just a tad into the ground. Those just fit perfectly there, and of course the way that I set up that tram tunnel and everything, it's kind of a tight fit, so finding the right buildings to put in can be a bit of a challenge. These are all going to be all the buildings over here are mostly just office buildings. There, however, is some commercial mixed in. Some of these are already mixed use, but for the most part they are going to be office buildings. This, however, is kind of a tourism building. This is the surf ballroom along with this theater asset, and I just kind of combined them close together. And something I am going to continue to do on this episode is expand this bike path that goes all the way from the Acacia District and is going to go all the way over to the shore. I'm going to find a way to get it over to the shore. I haven't really decided how to do that just yet. More than likely it'll just be an overpass of sorts, but we are going to just continue that bike path. I'm going to be very heavy on the pedestrian walkways, being that it's downtown, and you know, a lot of people in downtown, they walk to where they want to go, and there's no difference here. They're going to be walking around just wherever they please, probably wherever they shouldn't walk around, but you know how my citizens are, they just do whatever the heck they want to do. So this theater we're going to be dressing up a little bit later, but I'm just kind of adding in some curb action over here and some palm trees just to give that a little bit of a nice polished look. And I have these new curbs that I really like too, like this one you see. I'm also using the new Find It. So I kept seeing a lot of YouTubers were using it already. It seemed to have really good ratings, but the actual description on the workshop still kind of warns you that this is a new mod and is subject to some, hey, let me just put a surfboard right here. Why not? It's a new mod and is subject to some issues, but I haven't seen any issues just yet. So far so good with the new Find It. I'll let you know if I discover anything. Here we have Courthouse. So continuing the federal district, kind of bleeding over into this district. This is all part of Midtown, so this is all the same district, but this courthouse is just a fabulous asset. This is by Jens, Jen, and it does have a bit of a European look to it, but I decided to use it just because it's one of the older buildings on Sloop John Island, and it's actually modeled after a European courthouse in Amsterdam, actually. So just go with it, folks. I know it's a tropical build. What is this European building doing on this tropical build? Whatever. So we're just kind of building a bit of a roof here. People are going to drive through, maybe your high profile criminals, important judges and lawyers kind of go through this little entrance. So we're kind of using procedure objects to put a little roof over that with these pillars, that similar pillars that I used, same pillars I used in the water fountain on last episode. Whoa! That scared the crap out of me. Gosh. In your face. I'm gonna need a second. I'm pretty sure I've never had a flying car poke out of a building when I was zoomed in like that. That was an adrenaline rush. I'm gonna let you know. That got me there for a second. Finishing up some detailing on this courthouse. We're using these red brick decals, and I put like a little road in there so cars will actually go around that. And they actually park out in front of those pillars, but that's okay because there's really not enough room for a road underneath there. Plus I have some smaller pillars holding up that roof. And we have these little gazebo, Coliseum gazebos, and I think those look nice there as well. Just adding a little vegetation here. We're gonna go ahead and turn the parking off on the sides, where cars will just park on that main part of that underneath the. Ooh, that didn't work. So cars can park underneath there, but I don't want them to necessarily park on the lead up to it. We'll put this little like private parking lot here. This will be for some very, very important people. So we'll go ahead and just put a little brick wall. I'm just going to build it all the way around to the front. And you can see cars are just really driving everywhere. It's because there's a parking lot on top of that building, on the third floor of that building next door. That will be the headquarters for AT&T on Sleep John Island. But it has a parking lot about the third floor, so should make for a lot of hilarity. These cars are just flying around ET style. What a beautiful asset though. Isn't that great? Lots of detail. I just love the bricks and the old giant windows on the front. Definitely European style, but I think it works well here. Kind of catty corner now to the courthouse. We have this cable building, I believe it is called, and we are putting it right along that bike path that I alluded to earlier and connecting it over to the intersection by the tram, and then just adding an additional sidewalk right by the other sidewalk. So there's multiple sidewalks, that way people are walking everywhere. We'll just use some ploppable concrete, but I want them to kind of use that sidewalk in a wide style. Here we're just building another big parking lot, and I'm not going to let you see me do this because you've already seen me do this, so we'll skip ahead a little bit. Just kind of putting in the parking spots. Again, this is using the big parking lots mod, not the regular parking lots road. This style probably would have been possible with the regular parking lots, but I like the big parking lots. So this big open area here, we're going to put in a large bike and road path similar to the one that is connecting throughout downtown. This one's going to kind of wind through. We're going to connect it over here to this road and connect it over here. And let's just fill it up with trees, except we don't want them in the middle of the road. Kind of fill this up with lots and lots of trees. Actually take a few of those trees out. So this is going to become kind of a park, kind of a nice little park in the middle of the city. Kind of serve as a bit of a separator between Robin Park and Midtown. It also has a connection that takes you over to Robin Park as well. So yeah, I think that looks pretty good. And let's just throw in a few little buildings inside of this park. I might go ahead and make this an official park with a gate and everything. I haven't really made too many real parks. I've just kind of made fake parks, for lack of a better term. Not too many of my parks have gates, but I think I might put one in this one. But for now, we'll just put in a couple of these buildings, maybe a swing set, little seesaw, little gym set over here. Just kind of keep those trees where they're at. I kind of like that. I think that looks cool. And let's see. I'm just going to kind of do a little terraforming. Give this area some bumpiness, and maybe that's kind of the reason that it wasn't developed like the other areas around it with buildings and stuff. Add in some of these rock decals. These are actually rock buildings. And we'll see. We'll just take out a few of these trees here or there. Hey, I found the Publix sign. I'm gonna just put that right over here. There we go. I knew I had a sign for that grocery, but I couldn't find it earlier on. So it happens a lot. Although I will say that this new Find It, you can separate stuff by a lot of different ways. So it's, you can separate them by new. So like if you just downloaded something and you want access to it immediately, you can access it a lot easier than with the old Find It. It also has a little tab you can separate your vanilla buildings with custom buildings. Lots of different options. So far so good with the new Find It. I think it works pretty well. So this is right beside our surf ballroom and theater. And what I'm doing is just kind of creating a little continuation of the Fountain Square Park. This is kind of, going to be a good place to hang out before and after shows that are at the theater. And I think it looks good right here across from the fountain. We'll kind of cover that up with decals. This is one of the vanilla parks with the 3 alien statues, as Katie calls them. I don't think they're necessarily supposed to be aliens.
They're definitely aliens.
How long have you been standing there? Jeez. They sneak up behind me. Well, regardless of what you call them. I'm trying to have a more modern looking park. Kind of have an idea for in the middle of these curbs. Let's see here. Ah, yes. We'll just shrink down the skyscraper. It's a miniature skyscraper. Made to look like some sort of sculpture. I think that actually works just perfectly. What is it? Well, I couldn't tell you what it is. It's a sculpture. Is it supposed to make sense? Not really. I mean, how many sculptures do you know that really make sense? Very good. Get rid of those little street lamps there. There's a few too many street lamps along here. Yeah. Really like that a lot. We're gonna just cover up these blank spots with some curbs. So we can just put in some trees and stuff here to kind of fill in the gaps by the statue. So Sloop John Island, episode 20, coming along really quickly. Downtown episode 20, not just Sloop John Island episode 20, but Downtown episode 20. So yeah, I'm really excited about the upcoming episodes. I said before, I plan on kind of wrapping up Downtown in probably the next 10 episodes, because I'm really eager to start some stuff outside of Downtown, and I might even start that stuff before Downtown is completely finished, maybe. I don't know. Depends on what you, the viewer, really wants to see. I really want to dig into some suburbs, and I'd really like to build some farming areas. I dabbled with farms when I first got back into City Skylines. When I first started doing more of a mod build, I started messing with the farms a lot more. And I kind of built a few on the other side of the mountain range. On the other side of downtown, on completely other side of the map. And they turned out pretty well, but I didn't really do much detailing. You can kind of see some of these areas with one of my old A Peaceful Day in Nowhere Land before this even had a name. Before it was called Sloop John Island, it had no name. And I made my first, here's a risky move here, I'm using Prop It Up. You always gotta save first before you use Prop It Up. There we go, that worked. Yeah. I changed those lights to the gas lanterns. Wow, that looks tremendous. I love the buildings at night. These older buildings at night look really good. Add a few lights to the side of the theater here. But yeah, so A Peaceful Day in Nowhere Land, the original Peaceful Day video, is quite funny in retrospect because it was on my old computer and it does not run very well. There's actually very noticeable audio glitches and things. It's an absolute blast. I highly recommend it.
It's time now for Glitching in Nowhere Land.
So I kind of changed up a few of these buildings over here next to the corner. And now we're going through and just adding some decals. I'm using these checker decals just to give this a little different look from the rest of the buildings over here. These checker decals aren't as big. One thing I haven't discovered how to use, and I'm sure it's pretty fairly simple to use, but a lot of people use procedure objects to make decals, and most decals that I have do not convert over into procedure objects. I'm assuming people are using procedure objects and then using textures that they get off the workshop to make decals, but they're not really decals. I'm not sure exactly how that would work, because when I do that, it usually sinks into the ground. It's a little uneven, where using an actual decal will cover up any sort of terrain. I wouldn't think that would work the same with procedure objects if you're using it as decals, but I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I'm still learning this game, even after 20 episodes of Downtown. There's a lot to learn, and that's what's great about City Skylines is even though I feel like, I read a lot of questions like on different message groups and stuff that I kind of think to myself, like, how do people not know the answer to this? And, I was there at one point. I mean, I don't mind people asking those kind of questions, but, as much as I know about this game and as much as I consider myself a borderline expert at a lot of this stuff, I'm not saying that I make expert level cities, but I do know a lot about the game functions. There still is a lot to learn, and that's the beautiful thing about this game, and that's where the replay value comes in. And plus, it's just very relaxing. After a rough week at the office, sitting in front of the computer for a couple hours, building a city, is a lot of fun. There's nothing I like to do after managing employees all day than to come home and manage a virtual city. Oh, anybody ever played Rocket League? I heard that was a lot of fun. Yep. Well, that about does it for Downtown episode 20. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed building it, and the same goes for all 20 episodes of this Downtown series, and really anything on This Old Gamer. I appreciate all the likes, and subscribe to my channel for more ridiculous content if you haven't done so already. We have a long way to go to finish Downtown, but I think it's coming along really well, and this has really been my favorite build so far. We will see you next time. I'm This Old Gamer. Bye-bye.